You know, the mosquito is just a nuisance in our gardens, and we can spray a product that might contain DEET, but it's not really good for us. So I'm going to highlight some plants here that are actually recommended for mosquito repellent. I'm going to start out with lantana. It is a natural deterrent to mosquitoes. And one thing interesting when you got to pick out a lantana, you know, what's a bud and what is past and already bloomed. Here is an example right here. This is already bloomed. That's a little hard seed pod. So when you're looking at one and it's full of these, and you know that can happen right now, they've had their first flush of blooms. So you want to pick out one that has a lot of, see all these nice buds on the top of that. Then as a complementary color to that, this is lavender. And very fragrant, but again, the mosquitoes don't like that. And this is called Sweet Romance. And it is very fragrant. Another nice plant, and it's one of the things that we don't want to turn loose in our garden, and we probably don't want to turn it loose in our container if we're going to make this into a container. You decide where you want to put your plants. This is spearmint. And it has other uses in our home, but it is very invasive. So you can see it's already has a root coming out of its container there. Now this plant right here is not necessarily on the list, but I've put together some things that have color, complementary. We want this to be aesthetically pleasing and beneficial to us for being able to repel our insects, our mosquitoes right now. This is bronze fennel, and it will have some height to it. So when we're going on the same premise that you would if you were putting a container together of flowers. We want our thriller, and we want our spiller, and we want our filler. So this is part of maybe perhaps one of our thriller plants because it will grow tall. And then this plant right here could work as a spiller. This is lemon thyme. And this has a very nice lemony fragrance to it, and it would be pretty over the sides. And then moving on, basil is recommended also, and basil comes in more than one color, so I thought perhaps the purple basil, and then here is the green basil, but either of these will work for you as far as the repellent qualities. Then let's move over here. These are marigolds. Of course, marigold is beneficial in our gardens too because it does repel insects and rabbits and things, and lots of people like to plant these in among their green beans or their cabbage or a lot of those. Now this is rosemary. Rosemary can grow different heights. Rosemary can also be winter hardy. This one is the ARP, which is supposed to be winter hardy in our area. So I'll just set that right there. Then this centerpiece, the focal point that most people are being sold, is the citronella plant. But the citronella plant is actually a scented geranium. And I, for years, grew these and for their bloom before they started talking about the other attributes about it being a repellent for mosquitoes. So you can see this one has the rose-colored blossoms on it. When we get ready to go to our favorite go-to spot and sit down for the tea or read the newspaper or whatever, it's just fun to think about. Let's run our fingers through our plants, and then let's run our fingers through our hair so that we deposit the fragrances of all of these plants that will repel insects.
For inspiring garden tours, growing tips, and garden projects, visit our website at volunteergardener.org or on YouTube at the Volunteer Gardener channel, and like us on Facebook.